I'm really lucky in my job because every now and then at Preston Innovations, we get a project that I get to be involved with that's quite exciting, something that's a little bit different, gives me something to really get my teeth into. And this Monster Extreme project has been just that. So what was the challenge? Basically, I was approached by the guys at Preston Innovations, said, look, we've been into Europe, we're getting a lot of feedback from these venues in Europe where they're fishing for big carp at extreme distances, over 100 meters. Now, 100 meters is a massive cast with conventional coarse fishing tackle, really is a long way. And when I heard some of the distances they were fishing in some of these, what they call freestyle feeder championships, it was like, wow, they are casting big distances. So how can we provide them with something that might be able to reach the distances that they need? As you know, we've got Distance Master rods, brilliant rods. The concept behind the Distance Master was always the same. It was to cast the distance that you needed, but retain the fish playing action. And I would say anything up to 100 meters, Distance Master is always my go-to. Certainly 70, 80 meters, they're the rods, no doubt about it. Beautiful rods. So we had a blank, we had something to work for. We had something that we could use to take on with these Monster Extremes. So we've taken a few of the characteristics that we know work really well, and we get to take them out and try and beef them all up, take it to the extreme. So first of all, the rods in the range. We've got a 3.8 meter, a 4 meter and a 4.2 meter. Again, the same as the Distance Masters, but the casting weights are different. So in the 3.8 meter that I've got in my hand here, it's 150 gram casting weight. Wow, that's a big weight when you're casting it out. So if I wanted to use this 150 gram, for English anglers is about 6 ounces. So, you know, if I was casting like a great big heavy feeder on the river, this rod's gonna eat it up. If I wanna whack out there my 2, 3, 4 ounce method style feeder, this is gonna do the job as well. Being 3.8 meters, it's a little bit more, I'm gonna say, fishable. So if you're not a big guy or a strong guy and wanna wield a massive, horrible rod, then this is almost like the fishing rod, if you like. This is the fishing rod amongst the group, which I believe, if I was going on a river, like a powerful River Trent and wanted a big feeder, this rod would be beautiful for me. I love using slightly shorter rods. I always believe with a shorter rod, I can be faster on the cast. I can really use speed to push the rod through the air and get loads of distance. When I first got the blanks of these, I was like picking them up thinking, right, how far can I cast them? And we were over 100 meters straight away. We tweaked the action in the rod. We looked at different elements of the rod to try to get a bigger action. How can you make everything stronger and better? So we've got a nice strong butt section, but don't forget, need to retain fish playing action. If I wanted a rod just for casting to the moon as such, I would probably just use a big distance carp fishing rod, but we've all seen them. They don't tend to have a lot of action in them at all because their guys are fishing with usually great big hooks, big leads, different style of fishing. We're talking about coarse fishing here, method feeder fishing maybe on a river, something like that. So that was the first priority, to get the butt nice and strong, but try to maintain some sort of nice feel. You'll see that the butt here where the reel goes is really nice and slender. It's not like a massive chunky rod. It doesn't feel heavy or overbalanced or anything like that. And we had to look then at the eyes on the rod. So we've used these, they're sort of like an upturned eye facing like up the rod, again to try and benefit casting. These are all designed for distance casting. The rings are designed for distance casting. Big eyes here, you can see that K-style guide, and we haven't even put it on the first section of the rod. The first guide you can see there starts on the middle section of the rod. Again, for me, that's really important. When the line's coming off the reel incredibly fast on the cast, I need it to be captured further up the rod. If it was here by the joint, it was probably a bit too close for me, so I've moved that up there with the team, and it looks absolutely brilliant. You can see those big guides facing up the rod. Look, they go all the way up the rod, so you can all the way through. I've got trust and faith in those guides. We haven't gone crazy with them either. We've not like overloaded the rod with guides. Again, we don't want to sort of hinder the distance in any way coming off the rod. And then when you get to the top, we retain our 3.5mm tips that we use on Distance Master. It's been really good. The action of the tip on a distance rod is critical, absolutely critical. We've gone through loads in the past, but again, it's like we had a cheat code because we already knew the tips for the Distance Master worked so well. So this is a 4-ounce tip, and the rods come with 4, 5 and 6-ounce tips. You know, you're fishing big distances for big fish. You don't need a really soft tip, but don't forget 4, 5, 6 ounce, it's a guide really for you. So you can see the tip still bends at the end. Look, I can actually bend the tip without, it's not like the whole rod bends as a oneer. I can actually bend down at the tip, so I can read the bite, I can read the liner, I can read that big pull round from a carp or that big drop back from a bream or a barbel if I was fishing on a river. So the tip length was played with. We tried some really radical things, super short tips. We've tried it all. This has been refined to be the ideal length and taper, so you're obviously optimizing your cast. One of the big things with distance casting is the potential to crack off, and that always comes from the recovery of the rod, and all these rods are designed to have that recovery throughout. So that is the features on every single rod, and you can see that carried through here on the 4 meter 180 gram. All right, now we're starting to really up the game. This is a big rod. When I was out sampling these with casting, I was putting 100, 125 grams on for the big distance casts, and I've cast feeders over 180 grams on it just to see if it could handle it, and it totally ate them up. That's the whole idea of these rods. The power down this bottom end is, to be honest, frightening. It's really, really there. But if you want to maintain a fishing rod, you are going to have to sacrifice some elements of casting. So the key was getting that balance. How far can we cast with these rods but maintain that good action when you hook a fish? So the 4 meter, that's a real weapon. But then we've got the big boy, and that's what I'm going to show you today on the bank, because this is an exciting rod if you want to go a long way. So we've got, it's 4.2 meters, that's 13 foot 10 for us guys who like to work in feet and inches, and it's 200 gram. So, and it is every part that sort of rod. I've been casting here today at Boddington's, trying to test myself, trying to push myself to the limit. Let's see what we can do with this bad boy, so I can show you what the Monster Extreme distance rods can really do. So this is actually really exciting for me, because I've had these rods in samples, we've changed guide positions, we've changed the action, we've changed different lengths on the rods. Everything's been looked at on these rods to try to see what we could do for distance. But this in my hand is the final finished rod, and I haven't cast it out yet. So I've picked up the 4.2. I'll have a cast with all the rods today, but for you guys, this title, Monster Extreme Distance, surely this rod needs to live up to that billing. So I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself here to have a cast out and see what we've got. Extreme distances for me is anything over 100 meters. I think once you get past 100 meters, you are talking massive. I mean, as I stand here now, I've come to Boddington Reservoir today, which is a beautiful place where casting in the winter, people will cast 100 meters or more on occasions in the winter. So I wanted to see if this rod can do it. Now, I don't profess to be the best caster on the planet. I certainly don't go distance casting every week. There'll be loads of you guys out there who love it and you're really good at it. So I'm not trying to break any world records or anything like that. I just want to see what these rods can do for me. Somebody who likes to have I love my casting, I love having a bit of a cast, but I don't go and practice or do anything like that at distance very often. So it'll be a real test for what these can do. Now, I'm going to set myself a little challenge. And I thought about this. I didn't know what to go with. I didn't know what distance to go with, but I'm going to try and see if I can hit a clip at 150 meters, which I think is a crazy, crazy distance. Now, I don't know if I'll do it or not. It might take me a few goes, but I wanted you guys to see what I'm doing. So I've put like an 18-pound mono shock leader on. If I had braid, I would definitely get more of a hit in my cast, and I feel like I would get a beneficial distance, but braid's not allowed here. So I've got an 18-pound mono shock leader, and then I've put 0.23 reel line on my 720 intensity reel. Now, the reason I put 0.23 on, I could get more distance with 0.18 or even 0.20, but I wanted to do something that was maybe you guys believe you need in your fishing. So if you were catching 20, 30 pound carp at distance across Europe or wherever it might be, I mean, there's some massive fish in here. Would you want to be playing it on lighter main line? You might not. So I'm trying to do it with line that replicates a fishing situation with my 720 reel loaded up to the max. I've got my 75 gram Banjo XS in a large. I've got the long distance stem with the flights on. I will load it up. I feel like that is then a fishing situation. Can we cast that a fishing situation? So my sticks here are at 3 meters. We've measured these sticks at 3 meters. I'm going to wrap it round now, 150 meters, so you guys can see. Let's give it a go. I'll tell you what, I'm quite excited. This is quite nerve-wracking for me, trying to do this on the camera. So I'm just going to flick that round the end there and we'll go. Here we go. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39, 42, 45, 48, 51, 54, 57, 60, 63, 66, 69, 72, 75, 78, 81, 84, 87, 90, 93, 96, 99, 102, 105, 108, 111, 114, 117, 120, 123, 126, 129, 132, 135, 138, 141, 144, 147, 150. Let's whack that clip on there. Where's the clip? There we go. So 150. Let's go. Let's wind her in. So there we go, 150. Now, like I said, I don't profess to be immaculate in my casting technique. I don't claim to be the world's best. I'm sure there's some guys out there, if you're really into distance casting, some of the real top guys, they'll be able to give you loads of different hints and tips on the distance. I can give you my advice. So I've loaded up that Banjo XS with a mold there. Don't know if we're going to hit this first time. One thing I do know about when I'm casting at distance is nothing casts itself out there. In order to put the feeder out there, the momentum of the cast, you cannot be gentle. You cannot lob it 150 meters. I probably could lob this rod 100 meters, such is the power and weight in the feeder. You know, it's not particularly heavy, really. 75 gram with a bit of bait, you're talking maybe 80 grams. So, you know, we could put an even heavier feeder on to help the distance as well. These are all things that would help you. I think I don't want to like take a run up or anything like that. So I'm going to cast in what I believe is, I want to try and be accurate still. So I've left myself about just over a meter, I would say, drop down from the rod to start with. I'm going to get my arms nice and high. So just to give you an idea of the technique, I'm going to put my arms nice and high like this, and I'm going to hold the rod at this position, and then I'm going to hit it really hard by drawing the rod down. I'm pushing through with my right hand and pulling down my left hand. The right hand will be doing more guiding than force, and the left hand will be trying to generate speed. But one thing I've got to do is I've got to hit this hard if I'm going to get this distance. So we'll see if we can hit the clip. Here we go, exciting moment. Will it take 1? Will it take 10? Let's find out. It's looking good. Yes, yes. I can't believe it, I'm sorry, that's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. That has hit the clip firmly at 150 meters. Really happy with the hit. I didn't think I was going to get that in one go. I know when I've been trying the prototypes I could do it, but could I do it with that loaded feeder? Yes. And you saw there, it hit the clip with force. It didn't, you know, it's traveled that 150 meters. So if you are looking for something that is going to get you out there, if you are one of these guys who are smashing it out in Europe on these big lakes, or you just want to come to Boddington in the winter and outcast your mates, I'm saying Monster Extreme Distance, what a rod.